Hey, welcome back to the channel, you guys. Welcome back to Drawing with Michael. I am, of course, Michael. My apologies for not getting a video out to you guys yesterday. Had a little bit of a family matter rise up, so I had to take care of that. It's kind of a blanket excuse for something that's a little more sensitive than I care to admit on YouTube, so we're just going to keep it at that. I'm not sure if I'm going to make up yesterday's drawing, but hopefully today you guys will enjoy the video and forgive me for not posting day 6 of Inktober. Maybe I'll make it up. I haven't decided yet. But either way, today we're going to continue on our quest to create wonderful, delicious art from the realm of Harry Potter. I've been doing Harry Potter characters now, and you know, for the past few days, and today's character is one that I think deserved a little bit more screen time than he'd had, but at the end of the day, what do I know? I'm just an artist, you know, that enjoyed this character quite a bit. Of course, I'm talking about Dobby. Dobby being the imp. I'm gonna sneeze. Being the imp that was in the Harry Potter series. Sneezing, of course, because today we had some change of weather. My apologies for that. And of course, whenever I smell the alcohol from the alcohol-based markers. Oh, my eyes are watering so bad. Anyway, hope you guys have been enjoying the characters that I've been drawing. It's been fun. I've definitely, I don't want to say been enjoying it, you know, because Inktober is just one of those deals where it takes a commitment. It's hard, you know. You definitely want to try and put your best foot forward, but of course it doesn't always happen. Pardon me. So anyway, what I'm basically doing, and one of the people that follows me wanted a step-by-step process of one of the drawings that I did. The problem with that is some of the drawings take a little bit longer, and unfortunately I don't want, you know, to continue to have 30 and 40 minute drawings on YouTube. A lot of people don't like that. It's great if I can get people to watch a 40-minute video, but a lot of times you're like, I don't have time to watch a 40-minute video. Are you crazy? So that's kind of why, you know, I get to a point and then, you know, I go in and I do a time lapse. It kind of makes things a little bit easier for the you know, for the user, so they don't have to commit 40 minutes to watching one of my videos. So that's kind of why I do that. So maybe one day I will have the freedom to create, you know, these long videos. But right now we're gonna do, you know, typically I'll do 15-20 minutes of time lapse or whatever, and then move on from there into, here I'm talking to you guys and I'm screwing up my drawing, into time lapse, and then you guys can kind of watch the the process a little bit quicker, so to say. So we're going to come here to the jaw. Anyway, Dobby's a fun character. In my opinion, a little unpredictable. You don't really know what Dobby's about, right? You like him, but you're not really sure why. I guess he's kind of like the I mean, at the end of the day, he's kind of like a slave, and you know, freeing him is a good thing. You know, being an imp, you know, catering to the needs of others. Roughing in the shapes is what I'm doing right now. curve this brow down a little bit. I'm using the Prisma marker today with the broad tip. I like the broad tip because I can use the point and I can use the broad surface, which is really nice. We're going to get a little bit of a have this come back slightly, have that come down here. Here's the cheekbone that comes in, and this goes here. I'm definitely distracted this morning. If you can't tell, my drawing isn't as fluid as I would have liked. I'm kind of fighting a little bit, and that happens occasionally for you guys that don't draw a lot. It does happen. And those of you who even do, you know, sometimes will get to that point where, you know, we've had something happen, and that's exactly what happened over the weekend. I had something in my family happen, and it's really distracted me. That's why I couldn't draw yesterday. So, that being said, that's kind of where I'm at. So I'll have this come here, this arm comes out and around. Here, here, this arm here, and then here. Weather is, of course, finally getting a little bit cooler up here in the mountains. It has been unbearably hot, and by unbearably I mean, you know, in the 90s, like Florida weather. Guys, if you've watched my channel for a while, you know that I moved from Central Florida a little over 2 years ago to the mountains of north, the very north part of Georgia. And we did that so my lovely bride, my wife, could go back to school and she could finish up her degrees. You know, early in our marriage, you know, everything was kind of about me and, you know, trying to get my career off the ground, and she made a great sacrifice to stop her education and go into, you know, child care, which she did, and she became a principal of a private school, and, you know, she had great successes. But at the end of the day, what, you know, happens is to move to a different level, especially in education, you have to have you have to have your degrees all lined up, and to be a teacher in the collegiate level, which is kind of either a teacher or administrator, you have to have your degrees. So that's kind of what we did. You know, we moved up here, and she had a full ride. Actually, she's very smart, much smarter than I am, to, you know, go back to school, and that's basically what she's done. It hasn't been easy. Nothing's easy, right? You know, for those of you who are currently in school, you know, I totally understand, and I see the ins and outs and the you know, the trials and tribulations of going back to school, especially if you're a non-conventional student. You know, if you've got your parents paying for everything, and that's a really good thing. But whenever you're a little bit older and you're having to pay for everything yourself, it becomes a very, and then you have children, if you have children and a family. So non-conventional students a lot of times have a different priority structure than, let's say, your technical, or not technical, your traditional student that maybe is there, and they have a little bit more leeway to go out and party. You know, my wife, you know, she doesn't do that. She's a very hard worker, and she's actually in her master's program right now. So that's kind of what we're dealing with. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I kind of messed up on the legs a little bit. I think they're, you know, if this is the bottom, I'm going to have this go down just a little bit. And I think I'm going to run out of space on the bottom here. because he's, yeah, I'm gonna have the knee up here. I'm gonna have that here, have that curve down. I'll do that. Have that toe, that foot right there. Okay, come here. Let's do the same thing. I'm gonna have the knee a little bit higher. And right now, I'm literally not worrying too much about, you know, I am worrying about anatomy. I want these things to be correct. But at the end of the day, I want that gesture to be in there first. And I can come back and I can correct stuff, right? Even that's kind of jacked up. So now, I'm going to come back and put a little indication of shadow in here. I'm going to have him holding something. You know, maybe have him hold a wand. As an imp. I'm sure he's not allowed to hold wands, but we're going to do it anyway. I don't really care. Have that finger here. Have that finger here. Finger here. Finger here. And have that meat right here. That meat of that muscle right here. Have that come up. Here's that knuckle. Come down. And here's that thumb. It's basically going to push. It's going to be like this. So, I've got meat right here. Here. Have this come over a little bit. Okay. So that's pretty good. And again, you know, I'm not rendering it just yet. What I wanted to do on this one is I was going to come back with a blue pencil, but I think I'm going to go right into ink. This is, you know, a lot of times I think we do things and we try to render it too quickly. And what inadvertently happens, this foot needs to be lower actually. What inadvertently happens is we get mired down in the minutia of the details, and it ends up messing us up. And I don't want to do that. So here, maybe that knee's up here, and have that curve down, and maybe I've got that come like this. Got that foot that comes down. I've got a toe here, a toe here, a toe here, a toe here. You know. Kind of mess this up just a little bit. I'm okay with that though. Bring this down just a little bit. I'm going to have this come up because this needs to come up here. So I'm going to have the knee up here, right? Come here, and here's that calf muscle. It's going to come down, and here's the bottom of that foot. Here's that knee, and this curves down. And that toe, big toe's all the way over here. He's got kind of a, you know, it's very planted. Okay, I'm gonna come back. I need a little bit of darker marker because I'm starting to make a mess here. Okay. Yeah, I've messed this up quite a bit. So we're going to come here. I went to a festival on Saturday, a folk art festival that was pretty substantial. And it took us a while to get in, and whenever we got in, we just couldn't facilitate. My daughter has broken her ankle, and you know, we thought, you know, we'd get there and be able to use a wheelchair, and unfortunately it didn't work out that way. But we had a good time nonetheless with family. You know, it's always an adventure whenever you do stuff like that. So let me check the time really quick. I'll probably put you guys on, oh, we're still okay. I was gonna say put you on time lapse. So this nose comes out. Okay, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna start inking it. And this is a mess. This is a complete mess. This really wasn't what I wanted to do in terms of showing you guys, you know, a possible avenue and way to do things. But it is, you know, it is one of those deals where a lot of times, even if you have a kind of a really jacked up drawing. You can go back in, and what I'm going to do, here we go, to show you guys that even, here I have this, even with kind of a lackluster drawing, I still have that base, right? I still have that decent base down. And what I'm going to do is just start messing around here. There's a little chin that comes out like that. It's got a little right there. Yeah, Dobby is quite an interesting character when you start looking at him. There's a lot of fear in his eyes, but also he's very empathetic and sympathetic. He makes you really kind of tugs at your heartstrings quite a bit. Because he's in a situation and he's, you know, tied to his master, which is never a good situation, especially in the situation that he's in, kind of servitude. So you don't want to really accentuate that. But it's very clear in terms of character development. You know, whoever designed him definitely, you know, pulled on exactly what they needed to for that character. Yeah. Right. Okay, so we're going to call... Okay, the cheek comes around, down, comes here, got that nice line that goes right up to the back of the head. Here's the ear that kind of comes in and under, and under. Okay, here's that other ear, inside of the ear, comes here, up, over. So the hair's coming out here and there. And I'll go back in with the other marker pen and start, you know, kind of placing in some of my lines. Alrighty. Okay, get this eye cavity that comes around, a little bit darker, a little bit wider. Comes around. You know, Dobby's got some baggage that comes around here that we need to accentuate just a little bit. And the thing is with this one, even though it's got a nice hard tip on it, you really need to be ginger careful, because what inadvertently happens if you turn it too much, you'll get an extremely, like if I take this and I go here, I get a nice, and it looks really wide, so you need to be careful. I could probably switch, so especially up here when I'm trying to get, you know, a little bit more nuance. Yeah, that's what I wanted. Then I'm going to go down and connect these two. And what I can do is just put some, and he's got these wrinkles that come around, right? Because Dobby, of course, being an imp, he's a mythical creature. And, you know, even though he's got legs in the real world, he still is that, he's got that mythical feel to him. So we're going to bring this out here. We're going to have this come around. There we go. Here. I actually like this, believe it or not, I like this pen a little bit better. This one feels a little bit better. If you guys can see that, okay? Yeah, you can. So what I'll do is I'll probably continue on with this one. just because I feel like I have a little bit more control over what I'm doing. So I want that to come down, I want that to go up. And then I come here, it kind of flares out just a little bit. This is a little bit high, so I'm going to bring this down. There we go. See, the more and more I get into the drawing itself, the more and more I see little corrections that I need to make. And as an artist, see, that needs to be wider. And as an artist, you need to make sure and know that line, right? I tell the students in class, I say, you are the first line of defense for yourself, right? You're the first line, you're the first art director for your work. You need to determine where your line is, where your best is, right? Where that edge is that you need to keep continually kind of pushing, and you say to yourself, okay, I like that, that's good. And what that'll do is it'll develop your eye to help push you. You notice how I keep, I'm not doing the eyes yet, because eyes are hard. Let's be real here. Eyes, if you get them wrong, you're gonna jack your drawing up. Right? And you definitely don't want to jack your drawing up. Okay? So he's kind of in a shocked moment, like, he's been found out. So let's get a little bit of eye shine in there. There we go. See, this is feeling a little bit better now. So what I'll do is I'll put you guys on dust time lapse while I go ahead and finish the inking process. And you guys can, let's get down here, a little eye right there, okay? Even though he's a mythical creature, still the same rules in terms of anatomy apply, right? You can see, there's an underlying skull structure, there's things in there that you kind of have to recall and remember when doing stuff like this. Ear cavity. Basically what you're doing, especially when you design characters like this, is you're squashing and stretching an existing form, and that form would be, the human anatomy, and you're basically kind of manipulating it. And the same thing happens whenever you draw other creatures, and they don't necessarily have to be mythical creatures, right? There's a wonderful artist by the name of Taylor Whitlatch, and she is she's done stuff for Star Wars. She's a great character artist. I'm sure she's done children's books and who knows what else she's done, but she's got a great book series where she goes through and you can kind of see her process of drawing. Okay, so I'm going to do this because there's a muscle that goes down like there, and then this comes out because there we go. And we got these folds that come down. Anyway, Taylor Whitlatch, look her up. She's a great character artist and character designer, and she'll teach you, especially by means of just showing you her process of how she solves certain, let me get a little crease in here, certain, problems when it comes to character design, and she gets in kind of the science minutia of things, which is really cool to help you understand that, your characters need to have a base in the real world, which is what I keep telling you guys. Make sure that your character designs have a base in the real world. That way, whenever you design them, they'll be more relatable. I watched a movie a while back that had wonderful character designs, and some of the imagery was actually quite disturbing, to be honest with you, now that I'm older and an artist, I can definitely recall, you know, seeing these things and recollecting to myself. That's actually kind of disturbing. The 80s movie Dune, and I think and I believe there's a new one being made, which I'm pretty stoked about. I don't know who's the... it's in my brain somewhere, but in terms of determining who's going to be the quote-unquote star of it, I really don't know. But look up some of the imagery from Dune. It's very fascinating, and there's a lot of, you know, organic and disturbing. You know, I'm sure they looked at infection and how infection manipulates the body, and, you know, like the Harkonnens. And anyway, it's a very fascinating read, and the artwork is absolutely phenomenal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you guys on time lapse while I wrap up the inking of this, and we'll do a simple wrap up at the end. Again, my apologies for not getting a video out to you guys yesterday. Had a little bit of a hiccup. But I think we're back in action, so to say. Once I get the trying to do this for you guys. Once I get the process of Inktober finished, of course, then we have Christmas and all those other things. I got to do my Christmas card this year, so I've already started thinking about my Christmas card. Fun. So, anyway, we'll do a simple wrap up at the end. We'll see you in just a minute. Okay, so that's pretty much it. What I'm going to be doing now is just putting in some simple little details here and there. Again, not going in and doing anything major. I'll start defining these lines a little bit better. You know, maybe putting a little bit more line weight here and there. See, if I was in a computer program right now, I'd go in and maybe do some color fill, right? But since I'm not going to do that. Anyway, so that's pretty much it for today. I'll try and do a makeup drawing possibly before the end of the week for number 6, because this is number 7 right here for you guys for Inktober 2019. If you're not currently doing Inktober and you're just watching, welcome. You know, it's not a bad thing that you're not doing Inktober. Inktober's hard. You know? What I tried to explain to the kids whenever I suggested they do Inktober was, don't think of it as a job. And that's what happened last night. I was like, gosh, I don't want to get in there because I have to do it, right? I want to get in there because I want to do it. So I didn't end up doing it. So that's kind of where I'm at. Alright, you guys, definitely like and subscribe if you like what you see. Share. Last month we had quite a few hours that were, I think it was 800 hours. It was a lot. It was probably because of that fresco video that I did. There's a lot. That one kind of went, you know, did great. I really hesitate to do any, you know, review videos because a lot of times I don't have all the information and I'm just going at it from an artist standpoint. You know, like the whole fresco thing and the subscription. I had another person tell me that yes, fresco is included in your monthly subscription, and then I had somebody tell me no, it's not. So I don't know quite exactly if it is or if it isn't, but at the end of the day, my main interest for that program has to do with its usability. You know, the interface is really nice and it's a cool program. So anyway, this is Dobby from the Harry Potter series. Day 7 of Inktober. I think day 7. Yep. Day 7, Inktober 2019. So thank you guys for liking, subscribing, share, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.